Hi, it's Nicola and welcome. Today we're talking about dialogue writing like a pro. See how easy it is to use speech marks and quotes in your writing. And today's show is sponsored by the Your Family Stories system, and I'll have some free sections for that at the end. And if you are new to Forever Young Autobiographies, this is the place where we learn to write life stories for family and friends so that unique memories can live on. And it would be super if you could follow, subscribe and like the show. Now, when I talk about dialogue, a lot of people get very frightened. They think they're going to be cast off into the punctuation wilderness and have no idea how to proceed. Now, as a print journalist, I can say that, look, putting quotes and dialogue into your writing is really, really great. It lifts your writing, whether you're writing an autobiography, a memoir, a biography, or another life story project. And I'm going to share the tips about writing dialogue that I teach to journalists when I'm at work, and it will get you out of any tricky situations. So let's jump in. The first point that I wanted to bring up is exactly what is dialogue? It basically is what's said written as print in text. So who said what? It's not a whole transcript of a conversation, it's usually just key snippets. Now, why do we need to do this? What's the point? Number one is that it's really fun. Like putting comments into your writing really does lift it. It gives it a lot of colour, it helps you break up other parts of your text, and it just puts, bang, the reader in the moment of that memory. For your reader, other things that are helpful is that it illuminates the character, the person who's doing the speaking or giving the quotes in a dialogue. It will show the reader their point of view and how they interact with the others around them and, say, with the wider world. And interestingly, dialogue can help progress the action or progress your story. So there's some really important reasons why we need dialogue. The third point I wanted to bring up today is how do we write it? Where do we start? Now, I like to think of dialogue as the icing on a cake. You don't want to overdo it. It's too much for your reader, so you wanted to keep it to 1 to 3 choice sentences. Now, these need to be accurate quotes, so as accurate as you've recorded or as you can recall from your memory. Because of course, if we're writing an autobiography, we might be going back decades. So as accurately as you can recall. Now, quotes are not a license to shoehorn in extra information. You should just use a normal sentence for that. And when you're writing your quotes, you want to use the verb said. So he said, she said, as a basic rule. Just generally, that's the preferred way. Okay, the fourth step is what type of quotes are there? What's available for us in our writer's toolbox? Now, I would suggest there's 4 different types. The first is paraphrase quote. Now, this isn't using any quote marks, but it's really handy as a writer to make some quotes, rewrite them so they're clear for your readers. Sometimes people ramble on in their conversations and it's not very clear, so this will help the writer put it more succinctly. Number 1 was paraphrase. The second one you want to do is a partial quote, which is worked into a paraphrase. It's just that a couple of words in the double quote marks. And then you have the standalone quote, which is usually have some sort of attribution or introduction. You have your colons, and then you have a sentence in double quote marks. And this isn't used a lot. It's more as a real punch, a real gravity hit for a specific quote. So that's the standalone. And finally, there's the more common quotes, which is the extended quote, which is just a series of sentences or a series of quotes. Now I'm going to lastly give you some information on how to do the punctuation for an extended quote, because this is where I find most people, they get really they stress themselves out. They're not quite sure. So I'll have all of this over at my website. So if you're listening along, be sure you can get this later on. I've got it all written down over at foreveryoungautobiographies.com/dialogue. So the punctuation for an extended quote is You do your double quote marks. Well, hang on, back up a sec. We need to make sure that that you've introduced whoever's about to speak. You need to have some kind of attribution for your reader. Once you've done that, you do your double quote marks, you write your quote, it goes a comma, close quote marks, he said, she said. So that's the first line. Then if you've got another line, a second or a third line, you start them like this. You do your double quote marks, then you quote with a full stop. No end double quote marks. When you get to your final quote in this extended quote series, you do your double quote marks, then you quote, full stop, close quotes. That's it. And I know that's probably really clear as mud. So again, head over to my website, foreveryoungautobiographies.com and /dialogue. And I've got a bit of a sticky note cheat sheet you can put on your computer or your monitor. So that's fresh in mind. And it won't take long to learn. And over there, I've also got some curlier punctuation that you might come across, which is, when you want to leave words out of quotes and you want to include an exclamation mark or a question mark. So that's really the quick and simple way for including dialogue in your writing. To recap, we talked about what exactly is dialogue, why we need it, how do we use it, the 4 different types of quotes, and then the punctuation for using an extended quote. I really hope that all of this will make you stop stressing and enjoy writing dialogue in your book. Again, everything is over at that website, foreveryoungautobiographies.com/dialogue. And while you're there, leave me a comment. I'd love to know, are you using dialogue in your book? You should be. It's a really great writing technique. If you've got any problems, send me an email, leave me a comment. I'd love to help you. And earlier I talked about the free gift, which was the Your Family Story system. I have some free sections for that. You can go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/free. You just sign up for that one. It's too easy. And the Your Family Story system is a system that I've developed after helping my grandmother, 99, write her life story. And she had some health problems. I've had juggling kids and work, and we managed to get her book written, and I document how I did all of that in the Your Family Story system. And if we can do it, I'm sure you can do it with your loved one. So check out those free sections. They'll be really helpful for you. Now I'll be back again really soon with a new topic. So please follow, subscribe and like the show. And until then, happy writing.